What if one of the most powerful tools for managing your blood sugar isn't a new medication or an expensive supplement, but a simple food that's probably already sitting in your refrigerator? If you have type 2 diabetes, you've likely heard conflicting advice about eggs. Some people say they're one of the healthiest breakfasts you can eat. Others warn they're bad for your heart because of cholesterol. After hearing so many different opinions, it's easy to wonder what you should actually believe. The truth is, eggs aren't the problem. In fact, for many adults with diabetes, they can be one of the most satisfying and nutrient-rich foods you can include in your morning routine. The real issue isn't whether you eat eggs. It's how you prepare them, what you eat with them, and when you eat them. Those three decisions can have a much bigger impact on your blood sugar than most people realize. Today, we're going to separate myths from modern science. You'll learn why protein is so important for blood sugar control, whether egg yolks are really something to fear, the healthiest ways to cook eggs, and which breakfast foods may quietly cancel out their benefits. We'll also talk about one morning habit that many people overlook, a habit that can influence your blood sugar before you've even finished breakfast. By the end of this video, you'll have a simple, practical strategy that you can start using tomorrow morning. No complicated diets, no expensive ingredients, just evidence-based habits that fit into everyday life. Because managing diabetes isn't about finding one magical food. It's about making small, consistent choices that help your body work better over time. So before we decide whether eggs deserve a place on your breakfast plate, let's first understand what really happens inside your body each morning, and why your first meal can influence your blood sugar for the rest of the day. Why breakfast has such a powerful impact on blood sugar. To understand why eggs can be a smart breakfast choice, we first need to understand what happens inside the body when you have type 2 diabetes. Many people believe diabetes simply means the body doesn't produce enough insulin, but in reality, that's only part of the story. In the early stages of type 2 diabetes, your pancreas often produces plenty of insulin. The real problem is that your cells stop responding to it as effectively. This is called insulin resistance. Think of insulin as a key that unlocks your cells so glucose can enter and be used for energy. With insulin resistance, that key doesn't work as well. Glucose stays in your bloodstream longer, causing your blood sugar to rise. This is exactly why breakfast matters. After an overnight fast, your body is ready for its first source of energy. If that first meal is mostly refined carbohydrates, like white toast, sugary cereal, pastries, or fruit juice, glucose enters your bloodstream very quickly. Your pancreas releases more insulin, but because your cells aren't responding efficiently, blood sugar can spike much higher than expected. A breakfast rich in protein creates a different response. Protein digests more slowly than refined carbohydrates. It helps you feel full longer, supports muscle health, and slows the rate at which glucose enters the bloodstream. Instead of a sharp spike followed by an energy crash, your body receives a steadier supply of energy throughout the morning. That's one reason many healthcare professionals recommend including a quality source of protein at breakfast. Eggs happen to be one of the simplest options. 2 large eggs provide about 12 grams of complete protein, along with important nutrients like vitamin B12, selenium, and choline, all while containing very little carbohydrate. But here's something many people misunderstand. Eggs don't automatically make your breakfast healthy. An egg served with vegetables and healthy fats is very different from an egg served with white bread, hash browns, and a sugary drink. Your body responds to the entire meal, not just one ingredient. So before deciding whether eggs are right for you, we need to clear up one of the biggest myths that has confused people for decades. Do eggs really raise cholesterol? And should people with diabetes still worry about eating the yolk? That's exactly what we'll explore next. Eggs and cholesterol. Should you still be concerned? For many people, this is the biggest reason they stopped eating eggs in the first place. Years ago, eggs, especially the yolk, were often blamed for raising cholesterol and increasing the risk of heart disease. Since people with diabetes already have a higher risk of cardiovascular problems, many decided it was safer to avoid eggs altogether. But nutrition science has changed. Today, researchers understand that dietary cholesterol doesn't affect everyone the same way. For most people, the cholesterol found in eggs has a much smaller impact on blood cholesterol than once believed. In fact, foods high in refined carbohydrates, added sugars, and trans fats often play a much larger role in raising cardiovascular risk than eggs themselves. That doesn't mean eggs are a superfood or that you should eat unlimited amounts. It simply means the focus should be on your overall eating pattern, not one single food. Think about these two breakfasts. The first includes 2 boiled eggs, spinach, sliced tomatoes, and half an avocado. The second includes 2 fried eggs, bacon, buttered white toast, hash browns, and a large sugary coffee. Both meals contain eggs, but only one supports stable blood sugar and heart health. The difference isn't the eggs. It's everything around them. Eggs also provide several nutrients that become especially important as we age. They're rich in choline, which supports normal brain and liver function, along with vitamin B12, selenium, and antioxidants such as lutein and zeaxanthin that help protect eye health. For people living with diabetes, maintaining healthy vision is particularly important because high blood sugar over time can damage the small blood vessels in the eyes. So instead of asking, "Are eggs healthy?" try asking a better question. How can I build a breakfast that helps my body function at its best? When eggs are combined with vegetables, healthy fats, and a balanced lifestyle, they can be part of that answer. But there's one more factor many people overlook. Even a healthy food can lose some of its benefits if it's prepared the wrong way. So next, let's look at the best ways to cook eggs if your goal is better blood sugar control and long-term health. The healthiest ways to cook eggs for better blood sugar. Now that we know eggs can be part of a healthy diabetes-friendly diet, let's talk about something just as important: how you cook them. Many people assume all egg dishes are equally healthy, but that's not always true. The cooking method can change the overall nutritional quality of your breakfast, not because the egg changes dramatically, but because of what gets added during cooking. One of the healthiest options is a hard-boiled egg. It's simple, convenient, and requires no added butter or oil. You can prepare several at the beginning of the week, making breakfast quick and easy on busy mornings. Poached eggs are another excellent choice. Since they're cooked gently in water, they retain their natural flavor without adding extra fat. Scrambled eggs can also be a healthy option, especially when they're cooked over medium heat in a non-stick pan with little or no added oil. Even better, mix in vegetables like spinach, mushrooms, onions, or bell peppers. This adds fiber, vitamins, and minerals while making the meal more filling. On the other hand, fried eggs often become less healthy because of what's used to cook them. Large amounts of butter, bacon grease, or cooking oil can significantly increase calories and saturated fat. While enjoying fried eggs occasionally isn't likely to harm your health, making them your everyday choice may not be the best strategy for someone trying to improve blood sugar and heart health. Another common mistake is overcooking eggs. Cooking at very high temperatures for too long can reduce texture and may increase the formation of compounds linked to inflammation. Gentle cooking not only preserves flavor, but also makes eggs more enjoyable to eat. Remember, Diabetes management isn't about chasing perfection. It's about making better choices most of the time. Choosing boiled, poached, or lightly scrambled eggs won't cure diabetes, but it's one small habit that supports your overall health. Of course, even the healthiest eggs can become part of an unhealthy breakfast if they're paired with the wrong foods. So next, let's look at what you should eat with eggs and what you should avoid to help keep your blood sugar steady throughout the morning. What to eat with eggs for better blood sugar control. By now, you know that eggs can be a healthy source of protein. But here's something many people overlook. The foods you eat with your eggs may have an even bigger impact on your blood sugar than the eggs themselves. Let's start with the best choices. Non-starchy vegetables are an excellent place to begin. Spinach, mushrooms, tomatoes, bell peppers, onions, and broccoli add fiber, vitamins, and minerals without causing large increases in blood sugar. They also make your meal more filling, which can help reduce cravings later in the morning. Another great addition is avocado. Avocados provide healthy monounsaturated fats and fiber, two nutrients that help slow digestion and promote a longer-lasting feeling of fullness. Instead of feeling hungry an hour after breakfast, many people find they stay satisfied until lunchtime. If you'd like to include carbohydrates, choose them wisely. A small serving of steel-cut oats, one slice of whole grain bread, or a handful of fresh berries can fit into a balanced breakfast. These foods contain more fiber than refined carbohydrates, helping your body absorb glucose more gradually. Now let's look at what to limit. White bread, pastries, sugary cereals, pancakes, waffles with syrup, and fruit juice can all cause blood sugar to rise quickly. Even though some of these foods seem like traditional breakfast choices, they often provide far more rapidly absorbed carbohydrates than your body needs. The same goes for sweet coffee drinks loaded with flavored syrups or whipped cream. Liquid sugar is absorbed quickly and doesn't keep you full for very long. There's another simple strategy that may help. Try eating your protein and vegetables before your carbohydrates. Some research suggests that this eating order may reduce the rise in blood sugar after a meal. It's a small habit, but over time, small habits can make a meaningful difference. The goal isn't to build the perfect breakfast. It's to build one that gives your body steady energy, keeps you satisfied, and supports healthier blood sugar throughout the morning. But there's one more factor many people never think about. You can eat all the right foods, yet still work against your body if you eat them at the wrong time. So next, let's talk about why the timing of your breakfast may be just as important as what's on your plate. Why the timing of breakfast can make a bigger difference than you think. You've probably heard the saying, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. While that's not true for everyone, when you eat breakfast can make a difference if you're living with type 2 diabetes. Here's why. In the early morning, your body naturally releases hormones like cortisol to help you wake up and prepare for the day. As part of this process, your liver releases stored glucose into your bloodstream, giving your body the energy it needs after an overnight fast. This is completely normal. However, in people with type 2 diabetes, this process can cause fasting blood sugar to be higher than expected. This is often called the dawn phenomenon. Many people think they've done something wrong when they see a high morning reading. But in many cases, it's simply how the body responds before breakfast. That's where a balanced morning meal can help. Starting the day with protein, healthy fats, and fiber may help provide steadier energy and reduce the urge to reach for sugary snacks later in the morning. It also helps you avoid becoming overly hungry by lunchtime, when it's much easier to overeat. That doesn't mean you must eat breakfast the moment you wake up. The best timing depends on your daily routine, medications, and your healthcare provider's advice. The important thing is consistency. Eating breakfast at roughly the same time each day helps create a predictable routine for your body. Over time, that consistency can make blood sugar management easier. If you take insulin or medications that lower blood sugar, don't skip meals without discussing it with your doctor. Changing meal timing can affect how those medications work. The key message is simple. Don't just focus on what you eat. Think about when you eat as well. A balanced breakfast at a consistent time can become another small habit that supports better blood sugar control. And speaking of habits, I'd like to share the story of one patient who made a single change to his morning routine and was surprised by what happened over the following weeks. A simple breakfast change that made a real difference. Let me share the story of someone I'll call David. David was 69 years old and had been living with type 2 diabetes for nearly 10 years. He took his medication regularly and tried to make healthy choices, but one problem never seemed to improve: his morning blood sugar. Every day, his fasting glucose was between 150 and 170 milligrams DL. He assumed it was simply part of getting older. When we talked about his breakfast, it sounded familiar. A large bowl of instant oatmeal, a banana, a glass of orange juice, and coffee. Nothing seemed unhealthy. But there was very little protein to balance all those carbohydrates. Instead of making dramatic changes, we made one simple adjustment. He replaced his usual breakfast with 2 scrambled eggs cooked in a non-stick pan, a handful of spinach, sliced tomatoes, and half an avocado. Instead of orange juice, he chose water or unsweetened tea. Everything else stayed the same. After about 3 weeks, David noticed 2 things. First, he wasn't getting hungry by mid-morning anymore. He no longer felt the need to snack before lunch. Second, his morning glucose readings gradually became more consistent. They weren't perfect every day, but they were moving in the right direction. What made the biggest difference wasn't the eggs alone. It was replacing a high-carbohydrate breakfast with a meal that contained more protein, more fiber, and healthier fats. That's an important lesson. Managing diabetes usually isn't about finding one magic food. It's about building meals that work together to support your body's natural metabolism. And once people experience steadier energy and fewer cravings, those healthy choices become much easier to maintain. Now that we've covered what to eat, how to cook it, and when to eat it, let's finish by looking at the most common mistakes people make with eggs, and how avoiding them can help you get the greatest benefit from your breakfast. 7 common egg mistakes that can work against your blood sugar. By now, it's clear that eggs can be part of a healthy, diabetes-friendly breakfast. But even healthy foods can lose their benefits when they're paired with the wrong habits. Let's look at some of the most common mistakes. Mistake #1: eating eggs with refined carbohydrates. Eggs themselves have very little effect on blood sugar, but serving them with white toast, biscuits, pancakes, or hash browns adds a large amount of rapidly digested carbohydrates. That combination can cause blood sugar to rise much faster than expected. Instead, choose vegetables or a small portion of whole grains if you want carbohydrates with your meal. Mistake #2: drinking fruit juice. Many people believe fruit juice is a healthy breakfast drink. The problem is that juice contains much less fiber than whole fruit, allowing sugar to enter the bloodstream more quickly. A better choice is water, unsweetened tea, black coffee, or whole fruit in moderation. Mistake #3: depending on processed meats. Bacon, sausage, and processed ham are popular breakfast foods, but they're often high in sodium and saturated fat. Enjoy them occasionally if you like, but don't let them become the main part of your breakfast every day. Mistake #4. Skipping vegetables. Adding spinach, mushrooms, tomatoes, or peppers increases fiber and nutrients while making your meal more satisfying. A colorful plate is often a healthier plate. Mistake #5. Eating too quickly. When you rush through breakfast, your brain doesn't have enough time to recognize that you're full. Eating a little more slowly may help improve portion control and reduce unnecessary snacking later. Mistake #6. Expecting immediate results. No single breakfast will completely change your blood sugar. Healthy habits work through consistency. Focus on improving your routine week after week, not meal after meal. Mistake #7. Ignoring the bigger picture. Eggs are only one piece of diabetes management. Regular exercise, quality sleep, stress management, taking medications as prescribed, and routine checkups all play important roles. When these habits work together, your chances of improving blood sugar become much greater. So before we finish, there's one final question worth answering. Can everyone with diabetes eat eggs? Or are there people who should be a little more careful? Let's take a closer look. Who should be more careful about eating eggs? By now, you might be wondering if eggs are a good choice for everyone with type 2 diabetes. For most people, the answer is yes. They can be part of a healthy, balanced diet. But there are a few situations where it's important to talk with your healthcare provider before making eggs a daily habit. The first is chronic kidney disease. If diabetes has affected your kidneys, your doctor may recommend limiting your total protein intake. That doesn't automatically mean you need to avoid eggs, but the amount you eat should fit your individual treatment plan. Another group includes people with familial hypercholesterolemia, a rare inherited condition that causes very high LDL cholesterol levels. These individuals often need personalized dietary advice that goes beyond general nutrition recommendations. If you've been diagnosed with this condition, follow the guidance of your healthcare team. Egg allergies are another obvious exception. Although they're more common in children, some adults also have egg allergies or sensitivities. If eggs cause swelling, hives, difficulty breathing, or other serious symptoms, they should be avoided until you've been evaluated by a medical professional. It's also important to remember that medications matter. If you're taking insulin or drugs that lower blood sugar, changing your eating habits may affect your glucose levels. That's why it's always a good idea to monitor your blood sugar and discuss major dietary changes with your doctor. The encouraging news is this. For many adults with type 2 diabetes, eggs don't need to be feared. When they're prepared in a healthy way and included as part of a balanced meal, they can provide high-quality protein, essential nutrients, and lasting fullness. The goal isn't to eat more eggs. The goal is to build smarter meals. And that's exactly what we'll bring together in the final part of this video. A simple breakfast plan you can start using tomorrow. A simple breakfast plan you can start tomorrow. We've covered a lot today, so let's bring everything together into a simple plan. If you have type 2 diabetes, you don't need a complicated diet or expensive superfoods to support healthier blood sugar. What matters most is building consistent habits that you can follow every day. Tomorrow morning, try this. Start your breakfast with 2 eggs prepared in a healthy way. Boiled, poached, or lightly scrambled with minimal added oil. Add a generous serving of non-starchy vegetables such as spinach, mushrooms, tomatoes, or bell peppers. If you'd like some healthy fat, include half an avocado or a small handful of nuts. If you choose to eat carbohydrates, keep the portion moderate and choose higher fiber options like whole grain toast or fresh berries instead of pastries, sugary cereals, or fruit juice. Eat slowly, pay attention to your hunger, and give your body time to recognize when you're satisfied. Remember, no single food can cure diabetes. Eggs aren't a miracle food, but they can be a smart choice when they're part of a balanced lifestyle that also includes regular physical activity, quality sleep, stress management, and taking your medications as prescribed. The goal isn't to make perfect choices every day. The goal is to make better choices more often. Those small improvements add up over time. If there's one message I'd like you to remember from today's video, it's this. Don't judge your breakfast by one ingredient. Judge it by how well the entire meal supports your health. A balanced breakfast can help you feel fuller, maintain steadier energy, and support better blood sugar throughout the day. Before we finish, I'd love to hear from you. How do you usually eat your eggs? Boiled, scrambled, poached, or fried? Let me know in the comments below. And if you learned something new today, consider sharing this video with someone who is also managing type 2 diabetes. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.